Jonathan Scoville is next. On deck, Dr. Norman.
I'm a teacher within Ohio County and social studies specifically. And one of the problems that I'm seeing with students rolling over to the adults around me is that our blatant disregard for federalism. We all know that federalism is a core component to our infrastructure of freedom. It protects the centralization of the national government, it protects the state autonomy. Can you please shortly give me your generalization of what federalism is and how it can be implemented into some of the bills that are being proposed, such as healthcare, tax, and stuff like that? Thank you.
That was it? Okay. I believe the question was how could federalism be used with respect to cap and tax, federal health care, etc. Take that out.
The march of our government has been towards more and more centralization in Washington, D.C. And that's the last place that you want control. So the 10th Amendment, and I talked earlier about being a lawyer, we just need to go to the 10th Amendment, and I think that's what this election is going to be all about. I think in November, the most important vote to everybody that's coming up, it's not the May 11th election that's going to vote one of us for, it's not the November election that's going to elect one of us, 26 of us over Mullihan. It's going to be in January of 2011 when the House of Representatives gets together and votes on the next Speaker of the House. If it continues to be Nancy Pelosi, we are heading in the wrong direction towards more of a stronger federal government. What we need to have is a new Speaker of the House, John Boehner, or another Republican, and at that point we can start rolling back this move towards Washington, D.C. and put the power back in the hands of the states, and that's what it needs to be.
Yeah!
Federalism is basically, at its core, is the states are the sovereign entities that created the federal government. The federal government should be serving the states, and only in those areas specifically determined by the Constitution. You can apply that principle to anything that is happening right now and see where we've gone wrong. There is no provision for health care in the Constitution. There is no provision for energy taxes and all of these other programs that have gone up over the years through 60, 80 years of progressive push. And until we put an end to that, it's going to continue. I think whether Nancy Pelosi or John Boehner or the Speaker of the House isn't going to make as much difference as the people in this audience being replicated throughout this country and people waking up and voting for the right people. That's what's going to change us back to a federal system.
I relate to federalism being big government. And I think that it was interesting, if you go back into the 90s, when Bill Clinton said the era of big government is over. Well, I think it's come back crashing strong, and we've got to stand tall and stop this. The cap and trade has to be stopped. The health care bill has to be stopped. We can't have provisions in that health care bill that force businesses to do something that, with a mandate from the federal government, that's a state government role, not a federal government role to do that. Imposing taxes on individuals, imposing penalties on employers if they have 100 employees on their staff and any one of them just requires that health care, that individual can be taxed up to $140,000 at that corporation. That's wrong. That's big government. Every time I think of big government, I see less freedoms. And that's what's built our country. I want to stop this big government era that is coming back.
I'm going to go off subject just for a little bit, stack my hands. Unfortunately, Mullihan is not here again, but the whole deal is to vote Mullihan out. I want to remind all of you that if you are registered as a Democrat, you cannot vote for any of us. So you need to be registered as a Republican or as an independent. If you're an independent, when you go to the polls, you have to ask for the poll for a independent, not the independent party, but not a nonpartisan. So you have to actually physically or verbally say that that's the ballot that you want. If you want to stay a Democrat and maybe change your party just for a little bit while you vote and then go back, you can do that too. Thanks.
I think these gentlemen covered the topic very well. Actually, I do think we need to keep the federal government to the enumerated powers in the Constitution and allow the states to control or at least adopt the necessary provisions to make our educational system stronger. Obviously, money is not the real answer. It's how we use the money.
Anybody have a chance? Okay. Moving on.